Hello and welcome to another replica reviews video. Now today we're going to be looking at this gun that you got in front of you. It's the Umarex Desert Eagle. It's a 177 CO2 powered pistol. This one here fires pellets, and what I find quite nice is, unlike a lot of pellet pistols, this also features blowback. Now, as I'm sure you've just noticed, we haven't started with the box. The reason we haven't started with the box is it's quite large and we couldn't really fit it in our setup. It was getting cut off the screen. For anybody that's interested, it is literally one of Umarex's black pistol cases with the foam inserts. It's all pre-cut out. They've even put a little handy cutout for your pellets, like a little tin of pellets, which is really nice. There's only really two things included in the box as well. First off, that's kind of really worth noting, is the Umarex Manual. That just covers all your basic stuff, as I'm sure you've seen in many of our other videos. We show you manuals, and also this little key here. Now this key is designed to tighten up the CO2 retention bolt, but again in a second I'll walk you through. So let's move on to the gun. Obviously I'm sure most of you are perfectly familiar with what this is a replica of. For anybody that isn't, it's a replica of the incredibly famous IWI Desert Eagle, or Magnum Research Desert Eagle. It's an Israeli made gun originally. Obviously this is a Umarex copy. Now this is one of the few handguns that's chambered in the real world, this is, with the real steel, to fire a 50 caliber round, which is, I'm sure, where most of you have seen it. There's loads of videos of them blowing up the latest iPhones and gadgets and various other bits and pieces on YouTube. If you're that way inclined, feel free to check those channels out, because they're an absolute laugh to watch. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the gun itself. Now, the only thing that I wasn't really sure about with this gun when we first got hold of it is that it's pretty much externally a full plastic construction. That said, again, I say this in a lot of my videos, it's a really nice construction. If you're after, you know, something that's going to be full metal, full weight, then I'm not really sure this is going to be the gun for you. Unfortunately, on this black piece of cleaning cloth, you can't really see scale. But if I put my hand next to it here, you can see that this is a large pistol. I would say for certain people this possibly isn't the best gun for them. It's quite a handful as such. As you can see, the grip is about half a mile wide, and it's not the most comfiest grip in the world, but you know, it's there to do a purpose. It's nothing comfortable by a long shot. Now I'll move on to the graphics and markings. As you can really see, there isn't too much going on with this pistol. Got the Desert Eagle logo just on the back here, and then obviously, because it's a licensed replica, you've got Desert Eagle pistol, Magnum Research, Inc., and then Minneapolis, or however it's pronounced. Flip it over, and as you'll find with a lot of guns on the market today, you've got the F for the German market. I'm sure you know this is a well documented marking. I don't really need to go into this. For anybody that's interested, just feel free to comment. And I'll reply, but you know, it's documented in virtually every video I see of air pistols. And then obviously the little warning here that says this is not a toy, etc, etc. I got mixed views on these markings. Okay, you know, they're white, they're pretty obvious, and they kind of do detract from the look slightly, but to be completely honest, I don't think they're too offensive. I've seen people whinging like there's no tomorrow on their reviews about white markings and cautions and warnings and all the rest of it. But to be completely honest, I don't find them too offensive. It doesn't ruin the look of the gun, I don't think. I think there's a lot more going for it than just that little white marking. Now, one thing I have just noticed that's also included in the box, I've kind of forgotten to show you, is this RIS rail, Picatinny rail on the bottom. This doesn't come fitted to the gun as stock. So when you pick up this gun, this rail here is not included, actually fitted. It comes with the two bolts, it comes with a little Allen key, and then you just put it over the bolts, tighten up the bolts and whatnot, and its job's a good one. So that means you can put lasers, flashlights, whatever you want to put on your pistol. What I will say, if you're looking at accessories, is a laser might be quite a cool one to put on this. Because it is actually quite accurate. I was really surprised. For a blowback pellet pistol, this is actually quite an accurate gun. But again, when we go in to do our field test, I'll be sure to really kind of make a point of that and kind of try and highlight quite how good this pistol really is. As far as features go, there's not too much going on with this pistol really. You have an ambidextrous safety catch, as you can see here. It's quite stiff. but nothing sort of out the ordinary. And as you can see, that works on both sides. You also have a cocking slide. Hopefully that's coming out on the camera. And then you can see that from the other side. It slides. The slide release catch doesn't function at all, or at least not in the sense of the slide. Anyway, I'll show you. Well, I'll show you right now what that does. Now, as I mentioned, this is a pellet pistol. So to load the pellets magazine in, you simply push down on this lever, and it opens up the whole of the little chamber here. And as I'm sure you're more than familiar with, it fires these little 8-shot rotary magazines. Obviously, they're pellets, 177 pellets. They're really easy to load. They're really, really easy to put in and use and everything. What I will say is this gun is really thirsty on CO2. If you're looking for something that you can just put a cartridge in and just fire all day long, maybe get 100 shots out of it, this possibly isn't the gun for you. It does get through a CO2 cartridge per 5 magazines, I reckon, absolute tops. I don't know if that's because we live in the UK and it's rather cold over here. If you're in a warmer country, it might be better for you. But over here, it's not the most efficient gun when it comes to using CO2. But as hopefully you'll see in the firing review, you'll be able to see that this is an amazing gun, and the recoil is really, really strong. It's one of the strongest I've come across. So it kind of makes up for it. I mean, the grin factor definitely takes over at the end of the day. So we'll close this back up for you. Now, as I'm sure you can appreciate with a blowback gun, when you cock the slide back, it does cock the hammer. So that obviously leads it into, it's either single action or double action, as I'm showing here. So double action is where the hammer isn't already cocked or primed. So it takes 2 movements to cock and fire the gun. Single action, obviously for anybody that doesn't know, is when you cock the hammer back and then just release the trigger forward. Now, as far as sights go on this pistol, they are really, really basic. They're nothing too kind of what's the word, adjustable. They literally just are a solid block on the top with a standard 4 sight on the front, which is a bit of a shame. I feel if you could adjust the sights on this, you'd be able to get greater accuracy. But as I'm sure you've seen from other videos, you can fit scopes on the top rail as well. For anybody that didn't notice that a second ago, the top rail here, you can put anything you want on there as well. Now, I have seen people putting scopes on it. I have mixed reviews of putting scopes on a pistol, but if it works, why not? So yeah, you'll be able to get some really good accuracy from there. The CO2 is really simply put in. You just undo this brass screw. As you can see, I can do it finger loose at the moment. Just undo that, tighten it until you hear the hiss, and then just go about a quarter turn more. And that'll load it up for you. What I usually do is I just fire a shot before I actually put ammunition in it, just to make sure it's all punched in really nice. So as you can see with the lever here, the little Umarex lever, that just goes in that slot. And then you use this to load and unload it. Because obviously when it's loaded, it's not really finger tight. Now, overall, I've been really, really impressed with this pistol. It was actually bought to me as a gift. My partner didn't really know what to get me for my birthday, so she bought me a Desert Eagle, which was a real welcomed gift. So thanks to her, because you know, usually I wouldn't look at anything this kind of weapon anyway. I usually picked my smaller frame pistols and sort of mid-range 1911s and 6 hours. So this was a really welcomed sort of addition to the collection. Construction wise, as you'd imagine with a Umarex, okay, it's plastic, but it's really solid. It's, you know, it doesn't give you any cause for concern when you're shooting it. The blowback action, as I mentioned a minute ago, is absolutely incredible. Okay, the first two magazines, sorry, are probably going to be your strongest ones. Anything after that, it does get a little bit weaker, and you do notice as the CO2 is starting to drop, the slide doesn't really move too much. But with any blowback gun, that's to be expected, really. I can't complain too much. I think for the price point where it's at, if you're after something that's going to make you grin, is going to hit hard, this is very, very loud. We took it up to the range a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's got their air arms and their day states and the BSAs and, you know, all the rest of the Virox and what I would call your traditional range weapons. And I opened fire with this down the end, and it all went very quiet, and everybody looks across because, you know, it's very, very loud. It does stand out. So if you're after something that's just going to make you grin, is going to make a lot of noise, is going to be quite accurate, again uses pellets rather than BBs, then this is definitely a pistol worth looking at. I can't recommend it enough. It's just so much fun to fire and to shoot, and it's a bit of a talking point as well. Sometimes when you're at range, you'll see people with the Beretta 92s or the CP88s, and you know, it's just another gun. But when people see a Desert Eagle, it's a Desert Eagle, and you know, it's a bit of a talking point as well. So yeah, that pretty much concludes our video. I'll say it again in this one, as I said the other day, we have started up a Facebook page, funny enough, on Facebook. We're trying to get as many people on there as we can, you know, create a bit of a community sort of feeling. We've got loads of pictures that we're putting on, you know, whether it's trips up to the farm or projects that we've got coming up. We've got a pellet project that I'm kind of dropping hints on the Facebook page. If you want to know more about that, feel free to have a look. I also do some really nice pictures of these guns as well. I sometimes feel that the videos don't do these guns justice. Some of the guns just look incredible, and I feel that just putting them in a screen in front of you doesn't really work. So what we do there is we get my brother, who's the cameraman behind this, just to take some really nice high quality pictures, and we post them up. We try and get maybe a post every other day or something. So if you want to go and check that out, just search replica reviews in your search bar, or alternatively we'll put a link in the description. That'll be nice and easy. You just click that, go across, click like, and then you'll be able to keep up with loads of stuff. I also kind of ask for people's opinions as well. I've got a Glacier PO8 posted up on the wall at the moment. If you think that that's something that we should look at, for anybody that doesn't know, it's a full metal blowback Luger, so the old German pistol. We're thinking about possibly getting that in. If you want to give your thoughts on that, feel free to pop across. But apart from that, cheers for watching, and we'll hopefully get a new video to you really soon. It's been great being back on the screen, and thanks for watching.